board of directors. Okay. We changed the bylaws, and so the board of directors elects the officers for the year. So I would like to introduce the new officers for the year. Where is Gray? Gray, here's, please stand up. He will be our new president, taking over Kim's place. We're looking forward to working with him as our leader, and so will you. Valerie Tillis will be our new vice president. Yo-ho. Our secretary is Zabora Levi Shackelford. Where's Zabora? Right there. Okay. And our treasurer could not be here, but I think he's remotely, and that's going to be Bert Hudson, who's been on our board for a number of years. So we're really excited about our new officers, but we thank to those who have fulfilled those duties this past year, and especially our president, Kim Goodloe, who has done such a wonderful job. So we thank you very, very much.
Okay. Thank you. You all look beautiful. Looking out at all of you. Thank you again for being here. And Karen, if you just hang out, because you're going to be right back on deck in a minute. We'll have our awards coming up. I just want to say a few things. First off, Kim, your kind words are very, very appreciated. So I have to say there's a confidence monitor so I can see what's on the screen, but because I'm so short, it really diminishes my confidence because I can't see it. But I understand that there's something there. You can switch to the slide that I think is the next slide. But I had my notes when I started thinking about what to say tonight, and I look back and I had shorthanded for myself, brag sheet, write a brag sheet. And so I feel really lucky that my brag sheet is you, you in this room, and thousands of other people who couldn't be in this room with us are who we get to brag on. Because the membership and this network is one of the most powerful things I think I've ever been a part of. You're the reason that any of the positive change happens in Virginia, and you're always there, whether it's speaking to General Assembly members, as Kim said, speaking at local commissions and boards, demonstrating to the governor or the administration, testifying to Congress. I've got all of these pictures. Each one of these things are represented there, or leading a rallying cry for change. You are the DD advocacy movement, and you're the only thing we can brag on because you're the reason. So I want to first just say, you should give yourselves a round of applause for that. Thank you. The next group of people is, of course, our DD advocacy partners. There are so many partners, some in this room, not all of them, but dozens of organizations have partnered with us through the years and been the DD coalition long before I came here. And you've been working together to have a stronger voice. And that's how change happens, is when everybody's working together. So our intention or our hope or our goal as the ARC of Virginia is to be the connector between all of these groups to help build collaboration and goals. If you'll put the slide up that has some of those groups I want to thank. I'm not going to name them, but I want you to be able to see them. And it doesn't include everyone, but those are the people who are really making it happen, messaging together and achieving greater success together. So I'm going to go through a few of the things that happened this year that we are really pleased about. It is, we didn't get everything we wanted, right? You never get everything you want. You ask for more, but we got a lot. And we want to acknowledge what was achieved this year. And I think that in doing so, we don't ever want to forget that even when we're celebrating where we've come, we don't miss or lose sight of the fact that there are still people in need, that there are still thousands of people waiting. There are people who are living their life but not having all their needs met. We know that. So while we celebrate these victories, we still see you, and we're not going to forget you, and we're going to keep fighting for you. So you never leave our mind, and you are the reason that we continue to fight. But I do want to go through a few of the wins this year on the legislative agenda. You've seen this many, many times, but hopefully you'll see in your program, we detailed out of that some of the wins. The rates were a big piece. There were millions of dollars in rate increases this year. And specifically, I want to call out one thing, which was we've worked for probably 2 years using the same chant of ending the inclusion penalty. The inclusion penalty was really about the fact that during the waiver redesign, supported living was a new service that was created, and it was created as an alternative for someone who needed up to 24 hours of support, but they wanted it in their own home. So whether you choose to get your services in a group home or you choose to get it in your own home, that should match. Your choices shouldn't be dictated by the system or rates. And previously they were, because the group home rate was paid 30% higher than the supported living rate. And that was one this year. That's huge. So people who need 24-hour support can live in their own homes. Very excited about that. I do want to give a little shout out to Karen Tefelsky and Virginia Access. Whoop, whoop. You know that we partnered together on the DD System Rescue Plan, and because of that coming together, along with all of those DD Coalition partners, that meant the members of both of our organizations, excuse me, were joined by advocates and families and professionals and all of those other people from the coalition partners, so that there were thousands of people who were at the General Assembly working to educate and urge our lawmakers to act. And so they did. I want to say a thank you, although I think Cullum has very eloquently gone through the whole team. So I just want to last say my brag is always to the board of directors that we have a very amazing team of leadership together. And then to this ragtag crew, the Arc of Virginia, I couldn't be more pleased to work with a set of professionals who are just making things happen every day. And so you're what makes it happen. So thank you. That's it. So now we're going to go, and I'm going to call Kim back up because we want to come and do some celebrations of people individually through our award program. So thank you.
Okay, so Valerie, will you come up? You're going to help me? Where's Valerie? Why can't I see anybody? Oh, there she is. Okay. Okay. Yeah, maybe that's it. Okay. So we're very excited this year to announce our Arc of Virginia 2022 awards. We received numerous nominations, which we want to thank you for. And we are delighted to announce our award winners and celebrate their accomplishments that have brought very positive advancement for the lives of people with disabilities. So we're going to start with the Catalyst of Change winners. This award is given to community members or organizations whose actions have sparked significant advancements in the developmental disabilities civil rights movement. So I'm so excited to invite Alex Thurman to the stage. I've known Alex since he was little. His mom has, I've had the pleasure of seeing his classrooms and the things that he has done. And so Alex describes himself as an advocate for people with disabilities and for inclusion in all facets of life. In his short 16 years of life, he has fought and modeled for students with disabilities to have access to the general education curriculum in their home schools and in all facets of life. As a non-speaking autistic, he has educated and influenced an untold number of people and systems through a video that he scripted for the Arc of Virginia and multiple videos about inclusive practices for the Virginia Department of Education, testimony given numerous times before the Virginia General Assembly on inclusive education and Medicaid waivers. Every summer since 2019, and he is a very young man, he has participated in the I'm Determined program, and Alex hopes to be a youth leader in 2023. At his high school, he is in all general education classes with accommodations, and for his IEP meetings, he sets his own agenda, expresses his concerns, and communicates the goals he would like for the next year. For the upcoming school year, he will be taking calculus at Bright Point Community College, which aligns with his career goal of becoming a mathematician and his plan to one day meet the woman of his dreams. The ARC of Virginia is very pleased to recognize Alex as a Catalyst for Change Award winner. Alex, thank you. Does he want to say anything? Okay. No, okay. Alex, thank you very much. Thank you. No, it's for you, honey. You earned it. No, don't jump off. You'll scare me to death. I'm old. Go that way. Good job, Alex. Again, let's hear it for Alex. Okay, next, this is a surprise, I think, I hope, still. Most of you probably know that the ARC of Virginia, a Life Like Yours Self-Advocacy Alliance, started in 2018. A member of the leadership team has volunteered over 100 hours annually working with the Alliance, and that is Sean Kirk. His tireless contributions, where is Sean? Come on up, Sean. Do you see him? He went to the bathroom. We were trying to make it a surprise. You know, the same thing happened to Jamie for her birthday. You know what? We're going to wait for Sean to come back since he didn't hear this, and we're going to let Valerie go ahead and do the next presentation.
Hello, I'm Valerie. Again, we're recognizing people that are getting the Ally Award. People with unreliable speech alone to be heard and understood are not represented in a civil rights organization until Tanya Szymanski created Communication First in 2019. She is joining us virtual, so I'm going to accept this award on her behalf. Communication First is dedicated to advancing the rights and interests of those who cannot rely on speech alone. Tanya is an executive director and the legal director of this disability-led nonprofit organization. Because of her leadership, knowledge, legal expertise, dedication, numerous talents, and ability to bring together people with very distinctive backgrounds, experiences, and conditions from all over the United States. The interests of estimated 5 million people in the US who cannot rely on speech to be understood are represented by a work of Communication First. The importance and necessity of communication rights are glaringly obvious with COVID-19. Communication First advocated for and intervened in situations where people's rights were not respected in healthcare settings. They created a COVID-19 communications rights toolkit that provided invaluable, clear information. If you hear Ben Bordeaux, pardon my French, how would you say it? Message about and for Tanya, a pioneer and astonishing advocate. I'm beyond grateful for the mountains you have moved with Communication First. There is a reason change is happening, and it's from the dedication and awareness that is being represented through Communication First by showing everyone that neurodiverse individuals can live a fulfilling life. And also as a result of Tanya's innovation through Communication First, a tremendous impact has been made with the lives of people with disabilities nationwide, as evidenced by Alex Thurman, who wrote, "I am in debt to Tanya's legal advice over the years. She made inclusion possible for people like me." Tanya truly is worthy of the ARC of Virginia's Catalyst for Change Award. And again, she's not here, she is joining us virtually, so I'm going to accept this on her behalf.
Next, Karen Smith is gonna do our next award.
I have the privilege of working with this woman, and it's amazing what she's been able to accomplish on behalf of all of us through the disability community, and that is Teresa Vargas, who is the Metro Washington Post columnist who has brought to light the issues impacting people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Her extraordinary work is abundant of pieces that enlightens the public about what it's like to be a person with disabilities. There's a whole long list that we've come up with, but just to give you a few, college students with disabilities deserve accessible campuses. Black, autistic, and out of prison Matthew Rubin becomes an advocate. Virginia is still failing people with disabilities, say families, and it goes on and on. A most recent example of her impact was a moving article on the need for additional Medicaid waivers and higher provider reimbursement rates. It was near the end of the General Assembly session, and we were struggling to obtain the attention of some of our legislators. Families were facing difficult to get services for their loved ones because agencies could not staff. And we had people waiting on waiting lists that could not have any services. Teresa quickly agreed to write an article after I called her, and Tanya and I got on the phone with her. She already knew the concern for better rates, and it was already knowledgeable about developmental disabilities, and that made it so much easier. In writing the article, she would confer with us to make certain her facts were correct. Now, how many folks that write articles about us do that and let us change things? And we hardly had to change a thing because we wanted to make certain that people with developmental disabilities were portrayed in the most positive light. She reminded people that all it had been 10 years since the DOJ settlement, Virginia was still not meeting its obligation to provide services in the community. Through this column, Teresa Vargas was a catalyst for change as the public became more aware of the need of individuals with DD, their families, and the difficulty that they were facing to just live a life like ours. This resulted in some needed changes passed by the General Assembly in its most recent session. Thank you, Teresa, for your work and all the time that you have dedicated to people with developmental disabilities. We thank you so much. And she's on.
Teresa is joining us online. I'm going to accept this on her behalf, Teresa, but I'll make sure you get it. And I hope
Thank you.
I'll see her.
Okay, wonderful. I was asked to say a few words. Do you still, can y'all hear me? Do you want me to say them?
We can hear you.
Okay.
We can hear you.
Okay, wonderful. I'll keep this brief, but I just want to say that a few years ago, I wrote a column about my late tia Chirola, who took care of me as a child and had an intellectual disability. In that piece I wrote, if you have followed my column in the Washington Post, you've probably noticed that I write often about disability issues. I do that because I believe it is a human rights issue that is woefully undercovered by the mainstream media. I also do that because of my aunt. After I wrote that column, I received so many emails from people telling me about their own tia Chirolas, and it was overwhelming and incredible. I write these stories because these issues affect us all. Some of us directly, some of us indirectly, some of us in ways that we don't even realize yet. So I just want to say thank you for this honor. It really shows that there is a demand for this coverage, and that means a lot to me.
Okay, we're going to start over just for a second. If I can get my stuff back together, because someone had to go to the bathroom. So I've got to find him. Okay. Hold on. You know, and Lucy does all this. I don't know what I would do without Lucy. What did I do with them? Okay, you may not get it. No, I like it. Okay. As most of you probably know, the Arc of Virginia's A Life Like Yours Self-Advocacy Alliance started in 2018. A member of the leadership team has volunteered over 100 hours annually working with the Alliance, and that is Sean Kirk, and he is in the room. Come on up. His tireless contributions to the Alliance members individually and collectively into the movement for a life like yours has elevated the voices and skills of people with disabilities, so they are leading the movement to affect the change in Virginia. Fellow Alliance member Brittany Lee said that Sean has helped the Alliance grow from infancy to full-blown maturity. It can go unnoticed, but Sean's heart for advocacy and advocates is unyielding. In addition to providing formal leadership, he thinks about his fellow advocates often. He strives to reach and inspire in multiple ways. He begins and ends each meeting with an inspirational quote. He has created programs for self-advocates on numerous tech platforms, local mobilization, and building and strengthening groups, to name a few. He provides individual coaching and support to others. He works collaboratively with Alliance members to develop meeting agendas that incorporate elements that motivate and inspire people who are often quiet to participate by sending thoughtful emails, inviting them to bring a quote or a movie clip. He created an e-card birthday campaign to remember other advocates. He ends each meeting with a song of inspiration. He is also a self-critic and makes changes on how to improve himself. He works tirelessly on playlists because, as he has expressed, he can talk too much and sometimes music does all the talking better. And just in case you didn't know, Sean is DJ Captain Kirk, who will be DJing our dance tonight. Kate Short sums Sean up this way: his accomplishments on paper are impressive, but Sean's truly good, salt of the earth heart for people and the people he calls friends and co-workers is his true genius. Congratulations, Sean. All right, so this is the end, right? No. Oh, the main award. Oh my gosh, I am so sorry. Sean, you messed me all up. We had a way to do this. So now I'm all messed up. Okay, so Valerie is going to present our Ally Advocacy Award. Thank you.
All right, so I guess I need to go over what an Ally Advocacy Award is. Okay, the membership of the ARC of Virginia established the Ally Advocacy Award in 2015 to acknowledge a community member who embodies leadership, courage, commitment, passion, and perseverance in advocacy. Ally, we all know, is a life like yours. It is an honor to announce that Liz Altieri is the winner of the 2022 Ally Advocacy Award. Is she here? Liz? Okay. Oh, yeah. These spotlights, they do something. It is an honor to announce that she is the winner of our award. Her commitment to inclusive education began in the 1990s with her interest in the skills needed by general and special education to support the academic success of students with disabilities in the general education classroom. She was way ahead of the times and a believer in that very few other educators believed in. She has been a decades-long advocate for students and their families. She has educated parents and teachers at this convention for several years, as she is doing again this year. Allison Thurman writes, Liz is absolutely passionate about inclusion now and for future generations. She has inspired me in so many ways, and I am grateful of her legacy. As professor and co-director of the Virginia Inclusive Practice Center at Radford University, she has influenced hundreds of future educators in their classes on special education and adapted curriculum at the undergraduate and the graduate level. Here's what a few of her colleagues at Radford have to say about her. It's not quite a roast. It's not, yeah. Maybe we should set this up in roast format in future years. She has been a tireless advocate for people with disabilities, for the vast majority of her life. She inspires me with her energy as well as her skills in preparing every teacher to be an inclusive educator. Radford alumni frequently speak of her positive impact on their own teaching philosophies and careers. The legacy that Dr. Altieri's service has improved education and quality of life for children and youth who experience disabilities. And finally, she has the courage to speak aloud uncomfortable truths about the inequalities and challenges these students face in our schools. And still, in her next breath, she offers positive ideas for change and pathways forward. She is an eternal optimist, and I am inspired by her every day. She is a tireless advocate whose passion and commitment are inspiring to those around her. Again, I would like to congratulate you.
Please. Thank you so much, friends. Thank you. I was thinking about this. I first served on a board for an ARC. It was the Onondaga County in upstate New York ARC 40 years ago. So that tells you a little bit of something about my age. Someone at our table asked me just a little while ago, did I think things had improved in terms of including students with more complex needs in the schools? And my answer was yes and no. It's why I'm still working past an age when people think I should retire. And I'm still so passionate about the fact that schools need to be a place where everyone is included. And I just want to thank you all so much for this award. I'm really surprised, really surprised. Thank you.
Now I have the really great privilege of presenting the Howard Cullum Award. This is the highest award each year that we give. And I hope I get through this without blubbering it, okay? For more than 30 years, she has been part of this movement since her boys were born. And I bet some of you know who this might be. She started fighting out on her own, and now she's championed for all of us. And so that we all know, before I read all this and I start blubbering over it, because she might be blubbering too, is I want Kim to please come forward. She was a leader of the Arc of Hanover for many years, being on the board as a fundraiser, a donor, and then she became a state leader and served as president for a number of years. We would still have her as president, as much as we like Gray, but we would still have her as president if we could, but her term has expired. As a president, as Tanya said, she gives more of her time and energy than any board member she has ever known in Tanya's 25 years working with boards. She goes beyond what a typical president does. She steps in for anything and supports her with all her heart. Tanya calls her my ride or die, because this is who she is. She will do anything for the ARC, for the movement, and anything for anyone as long as it's advocating for persons with disabilities. She's a constant advocate before the Virginia General Assembly, ready to fight, and I mean fight. You hear it in her voice at some of these meetings, especially the last 2 years that we've been virtual. She's a constant advocate. She's never afraid to speak the truth to power people. I admire her greatly because she will be glad to speak to the president and has speaking to the president. Her passion, dedication, and sometimes tears, and she talks about being embarrassed about that. I think they work all the time. She just ignites others to action. And I have to tell you, she invited me to action because I was never this active until I got to know Kim. Whether it's the countless work groups she is willing to sit on, and sometimes they're very boring, with state administrative officials, governors, or even way up to President Biden, she is the voice of people and families of disabilities here in Virginia, fighting for what she believes is right and fighting for what she loves and fighting on behalf of all of us. And for this, we are presenting the Howard Cullum Award to our president, Kim Goodlow.
Thank y'all very much. I don't know how, I'm the one that orders the awards. And so I don't know how that I am totally shocked. My husband is here, Tom. If you'd stand up, Tom is always in the background. I couldn't do anything I do if it wasn't for him. And my sister Debbie is here. And she's been my ride or die for, my boys are 32. She's always been there for me. But you guys, and I'm talking about the people with developmental disabilities in the room, you are my posse. You are my family. You are who motivates me. And I'm just so proud and thank you so much.
Wow, isn't she something? Kim, you motivate us all, and we thank you so much for all the hours you have given to our movement. Thank you very much. And then if you want to see something hysterical, let me see if I can't get off the stage, because I am a student driver. You have heard me tell you this in the elevators, and I got stuck in my room and couldn't get out just about right before this all started. So if you want a good laugh, I'm going to go backwards. And thank you very much. And Tanya, how can we not say thank you to you two for all you have done? You are a catalyst for change always.
Good stuff. Now I'm going to put her back on the spot because she has a great introduction to do right now. She's introducing the fun.
All right. So you all know here at the Arc of Virginia, we're famous for our dance moves, right? So we're getting ready to start our dance. We could never start our dance without our famous DJ. So I'd like to introduce DJ Captain Kirk. Where is he? All right, Captain Kirk, drop that track.